All right, Sammy, let's move on to the next one. Utes in the NFL. Just checking in on these guys. We've got a couple players that are not just standing out as rookies, but they're standing out and look like veterans in the NFL. Sammy, tell us a little bit about what's going on.
So there's three that we're going to touch on this week because they're the three that we think have had best run up to this point. I want to talk about Jaylon Johnson first and foremost. I love me some Jaylon Johnson, but versus the Rams on Monday, he had 35 coverage snaps, 3 targets, 1 catch allowed, and 1 forced incompletion. That's insane. He is consistently pass breaking up, doing the thing. He's doing what we all knew he would do because we've seen it at Utah, but to see him do it at the next level against some of these really good wide receivers in the NFL is just like really fun to see, and it's really fun to watch.
Oh, it absolutely is. And just to add some more impressive stats from JJ, he's on another level. Through the first 4 weeks, he led the NFL. Sammy, I'm going to have to do it. He led the NFL in yards per coverage snap when he lined up in press coverage at 0.19 yards per coverage snap. Not just rookies, but all NFL corners. Are you kidding me? That is insane to see a rookie do that.
He's great. He's fantastic. I love him.
Oh, I do too. And another thing, in his first 2 games, he became second all-time in passes defended by a rookie with 5 through the first 2 games. There's only one more player in NFL history that's done that through the first 2 games. And for Jaylon to be able to be a second all-time amongst rookies in any stat is pretty fantastic. And as well, he sealed the victory against the Lions. I think it was in week 1 or 2, as he batted away the final pass of the game in the end zone as time expired. He locked down that wide receiver. Pass went to the end zone. Game is on the line. He bats it out, and he does it. He does it as if he acts like he's been there before. You know, he's not. He doesn't have that rookie mentality of, oh my gosh, I just did something crazy in the NFL. No, he bats it away, and then he's like, yeah, whatever. Like, no big deal. This is where I am.
It's just another day on the job.
Exactly. You know, it's crazy. He bats it away, and then he just like gives a high five to one of his teammates, and they just walk to the sideline. The game is over, and his teammates are running to him, and he's just like, what? Did I do something big? Like, what happened? I don't even know.
Speaking of big game-winning plays, your other fave, Julian Blackmon. Can we just talk about how he's coming off an ACL injury that people thought he wouldn't play at all this year? And he had the game-winning interception against the Bengals. And through the first 7 weeks, according to PFF, he is the second highest rated defensive rookie at a 74.1. Cole, would you like to guess who the only player who's ranked higher than him is?
Oh, I don't know.
It's Chase Young. It's Chase Young, bud. And he wasn't even, when I was looking at these stats the other night, he's not that far behind Chase Young in terms of this rating. I love Julian Blackmon. I've said it on Twitter once. I'll say it again. This has been and always will be a Julian Blackmon stan account. I love him. He's so good.
Hey, he liked one of my tweets about 2 weeks ago, and I don't know if I've been happier lately. I really
accurate. Don't. Fair.
He's fantastic. No, another thing too, the PFF also has him ranked 10th amongst all safeties in the NFL. All safeties. I think there's like 83 safeties on that list. He's 10th.
He has 2 interceptions on the season already, which is like tied for like 13th or 14th in the NFL for the season already.
Yeah. Well, and to go back to that interception that he made against the Bengals, you watch that play, Julian read Burrow's eyes the entire play. He immediately stepped up to the area Burrow was targeting and just waited for the pass. He knew it was coming. And I watched the post-game interview with Julian. He talked about how he made a mental note of how earlier in the game he recognized, Kate, we were giving up a lot of yards in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
And so he thought, okay, the game's on the line. There's a good chance that Burrow's going to go back to that. And he cashed in. That just shows that Blackmon is a very smart player and is aware of in-game tendencies and patterns and doesn't just play snap to snap. No, he sees it as a whole. He sees the whole game. He's recognizing patterns and he's making plays based off that big plays.
Juice did the same thing when he was here at Utah. So I don't know why. When people are like, "Oh my God, he's doing so well," I don't get why are you surprised? Why are you surprised? He did the same thing at Utah, and he's doing it for the Colts. But to touch on our third Ute in the NFL, we're gonna flip it over. We're gonna go to the offense. And no, you're probably thinking, "Oh, they're gonna talk about Zach Moss." No, we're not.
Unfortunately not.
Unfortunately not. This goes out to all of our Broncos fans that live here in Utah. This is for Tim Patrick. Man's been balling out. The Broncos don't have a lot going for them right now, I'm sorry to admit. But Patrick has been killing it. He already has 354 yards, 2 touchdowns this season on 23 receptions. That's pretty good. He's averaging 15.4 yards per catch, and his longest catch this season was for 41 yards. Man's about to get paid in this offseason.
Well, he's made some big improvements, and to me, those are the kinds of players that you want to go after. Obviously, you have those stars that are consistent and put up big numbers every single season, but the diamonds in the rough are the guys that make improvements season to season.
Mm-hmm.
And he's clearly found some good chemistry with the quarterback. He's already got more yards and touchdowns in 6 games than he did in 8 games last season and 16 games the year before. Both more yards and more touchdowns. That's crazy. And it's almost double the yards.
And we're like midway at this point. But also, can we talk about how the fact that Tim Patrick was not drafted? He was not drafted. He was picked up in free agency by the Broncos. And now he's out here doing this. He is going to get paid this offseason.
Well, he's only going to get better.
The sky's the limit for Tim Patrick at this point. I think that if the Broncos can figure out what else is going on around them, Patrick's going to have a really good career. And I don't know, once other receivers come back, things might shift a little bit and he might not be the number one guy anymore. But I have a feeling Tim Patrick will be a legit deep threat for the Broncos. Even next year when everyone's healthy, he's good at catching that deep ball. I think Brian Thompson has the same arc. I think Brian Thompson will get drafted, but I think Brian Thompson also will be a legit deep threat in the NFL.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because these are the kinds of stories that make you feel good and you love to see, because I think when it comes to professional sports and specifically the NFL, all it takes is the right amount of chemistry. Looking at Patrick's numbers the last couple of years, I just don't think that there was a connection between him and the quarterback. But this year, he's obviously has that. You get the right guy throwing him the right passes, and he's showing that he can be trusted with that. And like you said, he's going to get paid. He's only going to get better. And I think the sky's the limit. We could be seeing him as a pretty predominant receiver for the Broncos for the next couple years, next couple seasons, which is exciting for him.
Very exciting for him. Denver loves a good Utah football player. They also have Garrett Bowles, who also, side note, vastly improved from last season to this year. Looking great. Good on him, because I know a lot of people hated on him last year for what he did and how he played. He's really stepped it up. So we'll give a nice round of applause to Garrett Bowles for that. Also, your Chargers have a really good offensive lineman in Sam Tebby, so that's fun.
Well, yes, and he loves the camera. He cannot control himself around that thing.
Let him have his moment, big guy. The big boys don't get that much love, so let him have his moment, okay?
As long as he keeps protecting that quarterback and that quarterback keeps doing what he's doing, fine by me. But it'll be fun to see how these our guys in the NFL continue to do. I think one thing that I just love is I feel like they don't get enough credit when they're drafted or when they go to that next level. Everybody's like, oh yeah, Julian Blackmon, he's got an ACL injury. He'll get drafted, but maybe a
he
practice
might sit
squad.
out the first year. He's probably gonna have to sit out the first year. His ceiling's not that high. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you're wrong.
Screw you. On to the next topic.